Namaste everybody. In our previous video, we have started our second lesson in geography, that is India physiography. There we have understood the meaning of the term physiography and we have seen that India has been divided into four physical divisions. So, India has been divided into four physical divisions. You can see the four physical divisions here. The first one is the northern mountain range. Okay, it is also called Himalayan mountain range. Next comes the North Indian Great Plain. Here you have the North Indian Great Plain. Then third comes your peninsular plateau. You can see it's a triangular shape here. So this one is the peninsular plateau. And fourth one is the coastal plains of India. This is the western coast of India and this is the eastern coast of India. And also it includes two islands, Andaman Nicobar Islands located here and Lakshadweep Islands located here. We have understood how these physical divisions, they have their own influence on other factors of the nation that we have seen, that we have understood in detail, and we have started our discussion about the northern mountain range, which are also called Himalayan mountain range. We have seen that Himalayan mountain range is divided into three layers. Okay, so the greater Himalayas, it is also called Himadri. Next one, the lesser Himalayas, it is also called Himachal. And third one is the Shivalik mountain range, outer Himalayas, outermost layer of Himalayas, it is also called the foothills of Himalayas. In our previous video, we have understood in detail about the greater Himalayas. Now, in today's video, we have to learn something about the lesser Himalayas and the next one, that is the outer Himalayas. Okay, so we will start with the lesser Himalayas. Lesser Himalayas, they are located to the south of your greater Himalayas. They are next layer after your greater Himalayas and they are also called Himachal. Okay, they are also called Himachal. This you should remember. And next one is their average height is 1500 to 4500 meters. Okay, average height of the lesser Himalayas is 1500 to 4500 meters. Next comes its width. Its width varies from 60 to 80 meters. Okay. Then next comes the important mountain ranges located in this lesser Himalayas. Then the valleys located here, and also we have to know about some important hill stations located in this lesser Himalayan mountain range. Okay, so coming to the mountain ranges located in this lesser Himalayas. First one is your Pir Panjal mountain range. Pir Panjal mountain range, it is located in Himachal Pradesh. Okay, in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Pir Panjal mountain range and Dhavaladhara mountain range. Both of them are located in Himachal Pradesh only. Next comes your Nagatibba mountain range and Mussoorie mountain range. Both of them are located in Uttarakhand state of India. Then next comes Mahabharat range. Mahabharat range is located in India-Nepal border. Mahabharat range. And last one is Darjeeling. Okay, Darjeeling mountain range is located in West Bengal. There are number of mountain ranges in lesser Himalayas, but we have to remember 6 for this year. Pir Panjal, Dhavaladhara, next comes your Nagatibba, next one is your Mussoorie, next one is your Mahabharat range, and last one is Darjeeling. Okay, then after this, if we have to speak about the valleys, there are number of valleys in this Himalayan mountain range. So, 3 important valleys located in lesser Himalayas are Kashmir Valley, next one is Kangra Valley, and last one is Kulu Valley. So, Kashmir Valley, it is located in the state of Jammu Kashmir. Now, it is considered as a union territory, okay, Kashmir. So, other two, your Kangra Valley and Kulu Valley, they are located in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Okay, so important valleys located in Lesser Himalayas are Kashmir Valley, then Kangra Valley and Kulu Valley. Okay, then which are the important hill stations located here? Okay, there are many hill stations. I think you are all able to mention the names of many hill stations located in Himalayan mountain range. So I have listed some 5 important hill stations. Shimla, you all know about Shimla, located in Himachal Pradesh, and there are other 3. So Ranikhet, then your Mussoorie and Nainital. So Ranikhet, Mussoorie, Nainital, these are all located in Uttarakhand state itself. Okay. Then Darjeeling. So Darjeeling is located in the state of West Bengal. So these are the 5 important hill stations located in Lesser Himalayas. Okay. So far about Lesser Himalayas, we have seen that it is also called Himachal, and we have seen about its average height 1500 to 4500 meters. Its width is 60 to 80 kilometers. Then we have seen the mountain ranges here, then valleys, and finally we have learnt about the important hill stations located here. So next comes your Shivalik mountain range, the outermost mountain range of Himalayas. It is called the Shivalik Hills. Okay, so it extends from Jammu Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. It extends from Jammu Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, and its average height is 600 to 1500 meters. Okay, average height of outermost layer of Himalayan mountain range, that is your Shivalik mountain range, is 600 to 1500, whereas average height of Lesser Himalayas is 1500 to 4500, and the average height of the Greater Himalayas is 6100 meters. You remember, no? Okay, so the outermost layer of Himalayan mountain range is Shivalik mountain range. So they are called foothills of Himalayas because compared to Lesser Himalayas and Greater Himalayas, their height is less. They are called foothills of Himalayas, and their width is 15 to 150 kilometers. Average width you can see here. And in this Shivalik hill range, you can find a special type of physical feature that is called dunes. You all have heard about Dehradun, no? So these dunes are flat bottomed longitudinal structure valleys. Okay, they have got narrow flat bottomed surface. Okay, they are formed by longitudinal valleys. Okay, these are called what? Dunes, and the best example is Dehradun. Okay, so these are the 3 important layers of Himalayan mountain range: the Greater Himalayas, the Lesser Himalayas, and the third one is the Shivalik mountain range, outermost layer of Himalayas and the foothills of Himalayas. Now, in the next part of the lesson, let us understand the importance of Himalayan mountain range. Okay, so recently China has attacked us, right? You remember, no? The recent situation that took place in India-China border there. So China could not defeat Indians, or China could not occupy the regions of India because of this Himalayan mountain range itself. So it acts as a natural frontier. It is a natural boundary, and it protects us from foreign invasion. Okay, so it is very difficult to war in this region. Okay, it protects us from foreign invasion. This is the first importance of Himalayan mountain range. Then comes your next importance, that is, it stops the cold wind that blows from Central Asia. Okay, so it stops the cold wind blowing from Central Asia, and it keeps the North Indian plain warmer comparatively. Okay, so this is the second importance. Then third one is, you have seen, no, it stops the rain bearing winds and gives heavy rainfall. Okay, see, that day we have learnt while studying about climate of India, we have seen, no, so Bay of Bengal branch of the southwest monsoon winds, it is stopped by here the Himalayan mountain range itself. Okay, and it gives rainfall to the North Indian plain and the foothills of Himalayas. So this is very important. Then afterwards, next comes, it has got very thick forest. Okay, it has got very thick forest and it gives shelter for number of wild animals. It gives number of medicinal plants, and this region, this mountain region, is good for plantation crops. Then next comes the it has got rich mineral resources also. It is rich in minerals. And last one is, in Himalayan mountain range, many rivers take birth, and they while they are flowing in the mountain regions, they flow very fast and they form waterfalls, and that is why they help in generation of hydroelectricity. Okay, so these points explain us the importance of Himalayan mountain range. Okay, so you can see, no, so this is about the first important physical division of India, that is the North Indian mountain range. Here you can expect, this is very important question for you. You can expect this question as very important question. Explain the importance of Himalayan mountain range for 2 marks. So then let us try to understand about the second important physical division, that is the North Indian Great Plain. Okay, so you can see here, so this is called the North Indian Great Plain. This region is called the North Indian Great Plain, and North Indian Great Plain, this Northern Great Plain, it is located between the Northern Mountains. It is located between Northern Mountains, to the south of Northern Mountains and to the north of your Peninsular Plateau. This is Peninsular Plateau, no? So in between Northern Mountains and Peninsular Plateau, you have your North Indian Great Plain. Okay, so let us know something about this North Indian Great Plain. Already we have learnt about where it lies. Then you should know that it is the largest alluvial tract of the world. This is the largest alluvial tract of the world, and it is formed by 3 important river systems. One is your river Ganga, then comes your river Sutlej, and then comes your river Brahmaputra. So these 3 rivers, Ganga, Sutlej and Brahmaputra rivers, have formed the largest alluvial tract of the world, that is your Northern Great Plain. Okay, so Northern Great Plain, its length, if we talk about its length, it is somewhat 2500 kilometers, and its width is, average width is 240 to 340 kilometers. Okay, so its area is some 7 lakh square kilometers. Himalayan mountain range area is 5 lakh square kilometers. You have studied, no? Now the area of North Indian plain is 7 lakh square kilometers. Okay, and it is the largest alluvial tract of the world. Okay, don't forget this. It is the largest alluvial tract of the world. Okay, then next comes importance of North Indian plain. Very easy. See, importance of Himalayan mountain range you have understood. If we talk about the importance of North Indian plain, as its name suggests, okay, it is plain, its surface is plain, and very easy to practice anything here, very easy to build anything here. We can easily practice agriculture here. You can very well establish the roadways and railways here, communication means can be set up easily here. Okay, so as you can provide roadways, railways and communication system here, you can easily develop industries and you can easily develop the urban areas in this region. So these things itself explain. This is very plain region and it has got fertile alluvial soil. Okay, and it has got many perennial rivers. You remember the meaning of perennial rivers, no? Perennial rivers are the rivers that flow throughout the year. Okay, they get water from the rain in the rainy season, and they get water from the melting water of your Himalayan mountain range in the summer season. Okay, so that is why they flow throughout the year, and that is how it is very helpful. This region is very helpful for practicing agriculture. Okay, understood? So it is a plain first of all. Then it has got fertile alluvial soil, and also it has got perennial rivers. It has got many perennial rivers, and it helps in irrigation. Overall, it is helpful for what, children? The agriculture. It is helpful for agriculture. Yes. Then next comes, it has level lands. That is why you can develop roadways and railways here. And when you have very good roadways, railways and everything, it helps in urbanization and industrialization. And finally, you have number of pilgrim centers here. Our popular Kashi is located in this region itself. Okay. So this is about the second physical division of India, that is the North Indian Great Plain. We have completed our discussion about two important physical divisions, Northern Mountains and second one is North Indian Great Plain. Now let us go for the third important physical division, that is your Peninsular Plateau. You can see it is in triangular shape, children. Peninsular Plateau. Okay, it is located to the south of North Indian Plain. You can see here, no? It is located to the south of North Indian Plain, and it is located between your eastern coast and western coast. So here you have western coast, here you have eastern coast. So here you have your Peninsular Plateau. Okay, so this is the largest as well as the oldest physical division of India. Okay, don't forget, this is the largest and the oldest physical division of India. It was formed during the time of, it was formed during Gondwana period. Okay, and it is formed by volcanoes, and that is why this region is very rich in mineral resources. It has got black soil also. Okay, so this is the largest and the oldest physical division of India. Its area is about 16 lakh square kilometers. So remember, Himalayan mountain range 5 lakh square kilometers. Area of North Indian Plain, it is 7 lakh square kilometers. You can see here Peninsular Plateau. Its area is 16 lakh square kilometers. That is why it is the largest physical division of India. Okay. So you can see here largest and oldest. Then it belongs to which period, children? Gondwana period. Okay. So we have seen where is it located. Okay. To the south of Himalayan mountain, to the south of North Indian Plain and in between the western and eastern coast. That you have seen. Area I have told. Then its shape also already told. And the southernmost tip of Peninsular Plateau, it is located in the Cape of Kanyakumari. You know where is Kanyakumari located? See here, children. This is the southernmost tip of your Peninsular Plateau. And this Peninsular Plateau, it has got number of hills, and it is bounded by there are number of plateaus and hills. So let us see the very popular Aravali mountain range, your Mount Abu, Dilwara temple. You have learnt about Dilwara temple, no? So it lies in this Aravali mountain range itself, in a place called, in a hill station called Mount Abu. It is very popular. Aravali mountain range, Vindhya mountain range, Satpura hills, next Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, Chota Nagpur Plateau, Deccan Plateau and Malwa Plateau. So all these are located in your peninsular plateau itself. So first let us understand something about the Aravali mountains. Okay, the Aravalis. So Aravalis, you should see where is it located. So here you have got your Aravali mountain range to the northwest direction like this. You have Aravali mountain range here, and children, it has got a mountain peak called Mount Guru Shikhar. Mount Guru Shikhar, its height is 1772 meters. Okay, Mount Guru Shikhar. Then next comes your Vindhya mountain range. So here you have Vindhya mountain range. Just see it. For your map marking, you may get this question. There are many things to remember here. Here you have river Narmada. Can you see river Narmada flowing like this here, rising in Madhya Pradesh, going towards the Arabian Sea. So here you have Narmada, and here you have another river called river Tapi. See here, river Tapi. It flows here. So towards the Arabian Sea. To the north of river Narmada, you have Vindhya mountain range, and in between river Tapi and river Narmada, you have got your Satpura mountain range. Understood? So three important things we have learnt here. One is your Aravali mountain range, which is located here like this. You have Aravalis here, Mount Guru Shikhar, then comes your Vindhya to the north of river Narmada, then comes your Satpura to the north of your Tapi, in between Tapi and Narmada. Okay, understood? So, Vindhya mountain range, Aravali mountain range we have learnt. No. Then, next comes your Chota Nagpur Plateau. Very popular. Chota Nagpur Plateau. So, you have to see first here in the map. Chota Nagpur Plateau is located here. Okay. Chota Nagpur Plateau is located here. It covers most of the regions of your Jharkhand. Then your Odisha, Chhattisgarh and West Bengal. So Jharkhand, most of the part, and the edges of Orissa, West Bengal and Chhattisgarh form what? Chota Nagpur Plateau. So this Chota Nagpur Plateau, it is very rich in mineral resources like iron, manganese and your coal. Okay. So Chota Nagpur Plateau is very popular for that. Then comes your Malwa Plateau. So Malwa Plateau very popular in Indian during the historical period also. The kings used to have wars to occupy this Malwa Plateau. Malwa Plateau is located to the west of Madhya Pradesh. Some western districts of Madhya Pradesh and some southeast district of Rajasthan, they form Malwa Plateau. Understood, children? So, we have learnt about Aravali mountain range, Mount Guru Shikhar there, and Vindhya and Satpura ranges we have seen where they are located. And finally, we have learnt about the Chota Nagpur Plateau and Malwa Plateau. Now, let us come for the Western Ghats. See, Western Ghats. Where Western Ghats are located? Here you have your Western Ghats. See, this is your Western Ghats. So, Western Ghats are called by different names in different regions. So, in this region, they are called by the name Sahyadri. Okay. So, in this region, they are called Sahyadri. Then, next here, they are called Annamalai range. Okay. Annamalai range. Then, they are called Palini range here, Palini. And last one, here they are called Cardamom hills or Elai Malai. Elakki, Malai andre Parvata. Okay. So, by different names, Sahyadri, next your Annamalai range. Okay, Malai I have told no meaning Parvata or Gudda, betta like that. Annamalai range, then Palini range, then finally you have Elai Malai range or Cardamom range. Okay, so in Annamalai range you have the highest peak of South India, that is Annamalai range, Annai Mudi. Okay, in Annamalai range you have the highest peak of South India, that is Annai Mudi. Okay, Annai Mudi's height is some 2695 meters. Here you have that one, 2695 meters. And in this place you have got three important ghats, passes. Okay, Bhor Ghat, Tal Ghat and Pal Ghat. Which are the three important passes found in Western Ghats? Bhor Ghat, Tal Ghat, Pal Ghat. Bhor Ghat and Tal Ghat are located in Maharashtra and Pal Ghat is located in Tamil Nadu. See here, Western Ghats, they are very steep towards the west and their slope is gentle towards the east. Okay, so they are parallel to the western coast. They start from the valley of river Tapi, Tapi valley to Kanyakumari. You remember, no? See here. Here you have river Tapi. So from here to Kanyakumari, you have your Western Ghats. What are they called in different regions that you have seen? No? Sahyadris in Maharashtra and in our Karnataka also. Then below your Palghat, which is located in Kerala, Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu border. Below Palghat, they are called Annamalai, Palini and Cardamom Hills. Annaimudi is the highest mountain peak of South India. It is located in Annamalai mountain range. Okay. So, here we will stop our discussion. In our next video, let us know something about Western Ghats and let us continue with our last physical division, that is the coastal plains and the islands. Thank you very much, children.